Hello, amazing people. Welcome to the Winning Inside podcast, where we discuss real issues, insights, and solutions to help you thrive in your day to day lives.
We know life happens and we can choose to be a spectator or a participant.
Michelle Wickman. Hello, everybody. How are you, Michelle?
Good morning.
Good
I'm
morning.
great.
I missed you this week because we didn't record on our regular day. So I've been having Michelle withdrawals for a few days. So I'm excited to be here, glad to see you, and want to get right into it. So today, it's interesting. I was away last week. I was on some travel, going into a conference, and it was planes, trains, and automobiles to get there. It was interesting. It was an interesting, epic journey. So I had a lot of time to listen to podcasts. So I'm listening to, of course, our podcast. And what stuck out to me is when Michelle says, and we're still moving forward. And I heard it so many times, and we're still moving forward. And I remember I was driving at some point and I was actually saying it, and we're still moving forward. And it had me thinking that today we're going to talk about do it anyway. And what do I mean by do it anyway? Sometimes I was on a trip last week and I drove a car from San Diego to San Antonio. Should have been a 16-hour trip. The car kept on breaking down. It took almost 24 hours, 23 hours to get there. And it was so frustrating because the car was just limping along. And then we had to stop to like fix it and make the car feel better. And finally we get there. Yes. And in that journey, I realized that we have to get to San Antonio by a certain time. We're going to make it work. So we're going to drive this car as slow as we can, but as fast as we can. And we're going to pull over every time we see a little light come on the dashboard. And we did that. And finally, we got there, right? But in that, you realize you have to do it anyway. You've got to get there. Just because there's a check engine light on or some crazy light to say, Mayday, my car's about to explode. You've got to find out a way to get to your destination. And we refuse to have these obstacles get in our way from our destination. And that to me was a metaphor for life. There were times when you've heard us say, you got to start something that's kind of tough. Screw it and do it. We go ahead and do it. And as you're doing it, we tell you, like we did last week, take those small wins and acknowledge them so you can take those small steps to get to that greater goal. But in that journey, once in a while, you're going to hit a roadblock. You're going to hit a funny destination. You're going to hit a bump in the road, a curve that you didn't expect. Something's going to happen that's going to impede your motion, impede your progress, thwart your success, slow you down, whatever you want to call it, give you resistance or friction. What do you do then? That's what I was going to talk about today. And that's why we call it do it anyway. Those are the times when you have to find a reason that's even deeper than before to keep going. And as Michelle says, so we can keep moving forward, because it's very easy to quit and it's very hard to start again if you take a break. But sometimes you got to find a way. Well, this didn't work. Let me find another solution. Let me find another way to get where I'm going. All right, that opportunity is closed. The door's closed. Well, let's go through the back door. Back door's closed. Let's go for the window. Find a way. And if you don't have the right tools, reassess and figure out how you can re-engage. So today we're going to talk about that. Do it anyway.
Yeah, I think that you made a really good point. Once you began your journey, you really didn't have another option. I mean,
Yeah.
sure, there's always options if you want to get really creative, but the two of you in a car, you had to get out there in time for an event that you needed to attend and needed to use this vehicle because you were transporting it for another individual. So you never really considered the option that, we're just going to give up and go back. And I love this as a metaphor. I think it's so, so beautiful that sometimes we need to eliminate the options of
Yes.
changing course, right? Sometimes it's like, yeah, our brain will come up with all these reasons to stop the path that we're on because of all the discomfort that we're experiencing. And with that, we'll go back to what's comfortable, which is what's known,
Yes.
right? That's what our brain likes to do. It wants to do what's familiar, what's known. So as soon as we start making changes, all of this drama comes up in our brain. We start making excuses. We find all the reasons why not,
Yeah.
why this is not the best course for us.
Yeah.
And just staying here is safer. But for the two of you, it wasn't even an option to stay. So you just kept moving forward. Now, what if we apply that to our goals, right? What if we took away this concept that, oh, you know what, we could just move this to later. We don't have to do it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And there is some discernment here, because at times we'll feel discomfort. Like if we have a goal for running a marathon and you're feeling discomfort in your foot and you have, a stress fracture. Okay. There are certain circumstances, but if it's, you're getting a cramp or, any of those other things, that's like, you know what, I need to push through this barrier
Yes.
because I know on the other side of this is growth, whether it's, a physical goal or an emotional goal, anything, relationship, career, anything,
Yeah.
you will experience discomfort because there are always going to be highs and lows. There's always going to be positive and negative emotions involved when it's about change and growth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's a big part of the journey. And it's funny how you were talking about marathons, because when I was sitting here ruminating on how we were going to address this, I was thinking that to get muscular gains or to get some kind of gains, you're going to have some form of resistance. And the more resistance you have, the more your muscles can break down and then redevelop to get stronger or more efficient or have more endurance. And that resistance is life. It is the opportunities and the obstacles that kind of slow down our opportunities, that get in the way. And I used to hurdle. So I always think of, whenever I think of obstacles, I always think of hurdles. There's two ways to go through hurdles. You can smash it down or you can go over it smoothly. And sometimes I've seen people run around them and you're like, it's not exactly legal, but you've seen people who run around them and you realize all they're trying to do is negotiate an obstacle, overcome resistance, overcome opposition. And in your life, you have to find that. And Michelle, you hit the nail on the head. Sometimes if you give yourself a time deadline, you make that firm. Do it by this day. We used to call them in the Marine Corps drop dead dates. Do it by that time. Like, boom, it has to happen no later than boom. And if you change that, it's almost like giving yourself a plan B. And you mentioned that eliminating plan Bs means that you are all in. It sends a different energy. When you don't have a parachute, when you don't have a fail safe, when you don't have a backup, you're all in. There's only one thing to this. We're going to succeed. We will do this. This will happen somehow. So let's just get it done. All your energy and effort is focused on that.
I love that. And Cheddy, you and I have worked with multiple entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And this is such a mindset shift for
Yeah.
people who are employees that move into entrepreneurship.
Yes.
That idea of all in, because, as a safety net, there is an element, or as a safety net, as an employee, there is an element of a safety net there, right? You're going to get your paycheck every 2 weeks or whatever.
Yes.
You have your insurance, you have potentially, a team or a department that you can partner with. Now, as an entrepreneur, particularly when you're starting out, a lot of that lands on you.
Yeah.
And that being said, quite a few of the entrepreneurs that we have worked with, and oh my gosh, I'm going to keep stumbling on this word.
Sorry.
Quite a few of them, there was a moment in time where they were just like, okay, I'm all in. Right. And it was the scariest moment, but they knew that was the turning point. They knew that it was like, I'm all in and I could completely fail and fail miserably.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to have to start all over. But it shifted how they approached their work. It shifted how they approached their business.
Yes.
And it increased their performance and their results because the idea in their brain was, there's no other options. I don't have a backup plan. This is it.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's like you're telling your brain and your whole being, all hands on deck. Every fiber of your being, every part of you, the whole essence, everything is all in on this effort. So you're going to see opportunities. You're going to get creative. You're going to get inspired. You're going to get dedication. You're going to get motivation. You're going to get fired up about this thing and you're going to make it happen. And sometimes you may not know how it happens. It may seem like an element of luck, but I'm going to say maybe it's not that. Maybe there's something that you're exuding. Maybe there's something that you're doing with your mindset that's creating these things, that's attracting these things, that's enabling these things to happen. And I just feel that when people are all in, they get luckier. I don't know how or why that is, but
oh, you know why it is.
Of course I do, but I'm going to be all subtle about it. But it's when you're all in, things just happen.
It's not that
so
things
lucky.
just happen. It's that It's manifestation essentially.
Exactly.
And
Absolutely.
whatever you want to call it, whatever study that you apply it to, it's that all of your focus is on this one goal, right?
Yes.
And so if your vision is consistently on that and you wake up with that vision in your mind and you go to bed with that vision in your mind and you walk around all day with that vision in your mind, when opportunities present themselves, you will notice them
Yes.
versus, I swear I just recorded this, versus you're not paying attention or an opportunity is just going to pass right by you
Yeah.
be- I, because of the fact that it's not your focus. So there's so many ways that people, you know, attribute this, whether it's law of attraction or manifestation or whatever, it's all conceptually the same thing
Yeah.
in that when you are hyper focused on one thing, you will see all the opportunities that apply to it.
Yes.
And when you're committed to that thing, you will take those opportunities. You will
Oh,
go
yes.
after those opportunities versus say noticing them and letting them pass you by because you let your brain talk you out of it.
Yes. So, one thing I'm going to take away from what you said is the hyper focus. If you're going to do something and do it anyway, you've got to stay focused on that goal. So get very clear about what that goal is. Get very clear about the end state, about the thing you're trying to do. Focus on that. And here's something that I'm guilty of. I can be Mr. Whatever. Ooh, new shiny, new shiny, new shiny thing. Squirrel over here. I can get distracted. And you have to reassess and focus on what's important and put your effort into the thing that is the main effort. What is the main effort? What is the thing? What is the goal? What are we going after? Because everything else starts to become noise. It may be supporting, but it may not be. And you have to know, does this support my mission and my goal? Am I doing things that are in congruence with that? Or am I doing things that are distracting or delaying me from my goal? Know that, learn that, figure it out, and then know and make sure that you're doing things that put all hands on deck, all of your energy hyper focused on that goal. And you'll be surprised. Not only is it going to affect you, but energy attracts energy and it's going to affect other people as well. People will be inspired by your drive and your dedication and the desire for you to get what it is you're trying to get. That, believe me, you've probably seen people where you're like, wow, I don't know what that person's doing, but I'm in. Let me know how I can help you do the thing you're trying to do. Let people do that to you because they can do that to you as well.
So it's interesting that you mention other people and inspiring other people into action or into supporting you as well. There are going to be times on your journey towards your goal where you're going to have to say no to things that you kind of want to do, but it pulls you away from your focus. And I know you touched on
Yeah,
that too, Cheddy. You were saying like the shiny new object syndrome,
that's me.
but even something as simple as like joining somebody at a party, if it doesn't serve your goal, going out and going on a vacation, maybe that doesn't serve your goal because you have something specific in mind that you want to achieve. So
Yeah.
it's interesting in this context, but that's part of the discomfort. That's part of the sacrificing now
Yeah.
for what you want later.
Got it.
And making sure that the person that you are growing into and the person that you will be will look back and thank you for those sacrifices, right?
Yeah.
Because that's ultimately what happens is I know it was hard and it was well worth it,
Oh, I
right?
love that.
So it's so interesting because we're like, I, I'm so old right now. I'm about to say YOLO. And if you don't know what that means, which I
Don't
think
say it.
most people listening do,
Don't say it.
you only live once, right? There you go. But with that, I feel like at times we almost pressure ourselves into trying to do all the things,
Guilty.
and really delaying gratification now for the gratification that you will have when your goal is achieved and all of the growth and strength and mindset development that you build along that journey.
Yeah.
That kind of gratification is worth tenfold what you would experience now. So
Exactly.
keep that in mind as you're setting your goals and you're making decisions that move you towards that place.
Love that. That was wonderful. I have nothing to add to that because that's just a mic drop moment. If I had a mic on me, I'd drop it right now, but I'm not going to drop this mic. But hopefully something we've said today can benefit you throughout your day. But look in your life for areas where you can just keep going, keep pushing, find a way to just stay laser focused, stay on track, stay on track. This is a time where it's up to you to make a decision to stay focused. And I wish you all the best in that this week. And if you've enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe, follow, and share. And most importantly, use whatever adds value to your amazing life.
And remember, even if life puts barriers in our way, we are still moving forward. Sign in again for a new episode of Winning Inside.
Thank you for listening to Winning Inside with Cheddy Matthews and Michelle Wickman. If you enjoyed today's show, please make sure to click the follow button, rate and review at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can connect with Cheddy and Michelle at winninginside.io. Keep listening. Another episode is coming soon.